Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Work Hard. My name is Ethan. It's just me today. Jason is out. He'll be out of town. So you're stuck. You're stuck with just me, which means I get to decide the topic of conversation totally. I'm in the driver's seat. Jason can't do anything about it. Let me adjust these levels real quick here. Hello. How's that? This is good. If I yell, I can yell from back here, and then it won't spike the car speakers or whatever you're listening to this on. Hope you guys had a good week. I know we did. I had a good week. I got a big dog promotion at work. Big dog promotion. Very excited about that. Very excited about a big dog promotion. You know what? Actually, I'll save that. That'll be more conversational. That'll be a piece for Jason and I, or maybe even we'll have a guest spot next week. I'll have one of our good buddies come on, and I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I'm sure it'll be fun. And maybe we'll talk about my big dog promotion then, but I'll save that. I'll save that down the line. I also haven't even had my first day yet. I got my job offer and signed it on Friday, and haven't had my first day yet, so I could get fired. I could get fired instantly, and that would be real embarrassing if I ran my mouth the day before I started work and then got fired. By the time of this recording, at least that's true, tomorrow when you hear this, I will have had my first day on the job, so you can email me and ask how that's going. Anyways, hope you guys had a good week. We've got quite a weather situation going on across the country, which seems timely. Did you guys know this is all right? So first of all, Tucker Carlson just laid it out there for us. Fossil fuels are not fossil fuels. That's a pretty big deal. I think we should talk about that first, right off the rip, because I was thinking about weather and like environmental changes and stuff like that, and how hard they try to like get us on the environmental change, climate change. Everything's it's gonna melt. It's gonna melt. You're gonna die. You're gonna drown. You're gonna catch on fire and then freeze and then catch on fire and freeze again. That makes me always think about oil. And when I was first capable of watching a TV and realizing that there was like things from around the world were happening on the news, and that was like being streamed live into my living room. From the first moment I was capable of recognizing that, they were hitting the foreign oil, we're going to run out of oil drum. Turns out we're not, and that the foreign oil, we're going to run out of oil, that all that kind of stuff, it ties together with, with renewable energy and the environment and all that stuff. So it just made me think about it. Turns out we're never going to run out of oil. It's just the earth just makes it. It's just a byproduct of the earth, like rocks. It's a mineral. It's the second most plentiful liquid on the planet after water. There's, I didn't know this, but the earth is I guess I kind of knew the earth was hundreds of miles, the crust of the earth was hundreds of miles deep, but I didn't realize that we've only ever dug like 6 miles down. So we're going to have a Dyson sphere before we run out of oil. And that's if the earth doesn't make more oil all the time. If it's not just infinitely replenishing it, if it's not an actual renewable energy source. So that's all that stuff's fake. There's no reason to make electric cars. For one, they're not more efficient. Electric cars suck. They might be faster sometimes, but they certainly are not more efficient in energy usage at all. I think the technology might catch up in 50 years, but for now, like I don't think everybody knows this, but electric cars, I think if they're like year 3 or 4 or something, you have to change the battery, and the battery is like, the size of a coffin, and it's more expensive than the rest of the car. So what you're paying for with an electric car isn't the car, you're paying for a battery. And so banks, I guess, are not financing electric cars anymore that aren't Teslas. So like all the cheaper electric cars that are coming out, like banks just won't touch them. You can't get loans for them, which is sick. I think that's fun. I think trying to peddle EVs on people that they can't buy is good. It's another indicator that the market is based off of demand, supply and demand, and not investment, tricking investors, which is good. I like that. So what am I going to talk about today? I might start by talking about how I don't have anything to talk about. That was only 5 minutes. Dog. We're in trouble. We are in trouble. One of the reasons why I had a partner come along is because I realized, I think I realized this way before I had a partner come along, but I was uploading once a month, and that was because I have nothing to talk about. I have a compulsion to speak, but I actually don't have anything to say, which is, what is that? The Dunning-Kruger effect. I'm just retarded, and have this like, I have the ambition of an intelligent person, but I'm a retard, which is like probably the ultimate curse. What else? 6 minutes, huh? 6 minutes, baby. What else we got going on? There's a really disturbing amount of people who have not gotten past the Bronze Age pervert stuff. What is his name? Kostin Eastern Jew. That's his name. Kostin Jewish man. Kostin gay Jew. Listen, I know that the main beef is between on the right, the main beef is between the America First sort of Nick Fuentes group and the neo-vitalist, neo-reactionary NRX crowd, whatever. I'm not up to date on all the Twitter drama. And I don't think you should be. I think you shouldn't care. I think that stuff's for fags, but I do think it's important to mention that Kostin Amor or whatever, is gay, right? I mean, that's surely we can all recognize that that neo-vitalism, like vitalism in general. I know. Listen, I'm in the Christian nationalist kind of American reformer Doug Wilson camp. So I'm not. I think Nick Fuentes and Kostin are as gay as they come. I do think Nick Fuentes is obviously a closeted homosexual who hung out with the cat boy. What's his name? Catboy Cammy, who did all the very. I mean, those videos are very funny, but they are. That kid is gay, obviously, and Nick Fuentes was. They were obviously kissing, or whatever, holding hands, whatever homosexuals do, and the neo-vitalism stuff. There are obviously there are parts of that aiming for excellence and stuff like that are redeemable and usable, but the philosophy or worldview in its totality is homosexual in its nature, being real obsessed with physique and outward appearances, or sorry, how do I hold on, give me 1 second here. Whatever, I can't figure it out. I was trying to figure out how to put a flag in the recording so I know where to edit later on, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up a YouTube video or something. Anyways, I don't have a very in-depth grasp of vitalism's ins and outs and the nuances of its philosophy. I just know that all the people with the Caribbean rhythms stuff in their bios and all those guys, the guys who are just yes, I'm a fascist and a racist, and what's the globo homo or homo globosexual or what, you know what I'm talking, the frogs, dude. I guess the frogs are all, I guess it's all of us now. Golly, I hate all this stuff so much. Listen, the point I'm trying to make is that, and I made this point before, which is that you have to appeal to something transcendental. And this is not this is not a genius argument or anything. I'm not even going to deliver this argument well. I'm just going to tell somebody that we need to have more people saying it. Although I think more people do. Like, I think there's a lot of people saying what I'm about to say. I just don't think that there's many people saying it to you guys, the people that are listening to this. And I know that, like, you know, my uncle or whatever is listening to this too and has no idea what I'm talking about. You could actually probably just skip this episode. You have to make a transcendental appeal, and you can't just appeal to this like miasmic, like the spirit of beauty or whatever, or like some sort of like painting of the Hellenistic era and like dying. If you die young, you don't. This is one of the things that I think is like one of the most retarded platitudes. It's a nothing statement. It's a Tumblr post of BAP saying, Kostin saying that you should be able to die young as a young man to freeze your youth. Like, you should be able. One of the things that should be possible is for you to die young in battle, like in a blaze of glory or whatever, and like freeze your youth and beauty permanently throughout all time as a hero, or like something like that. And that's a platitude. That's a nothing statement. Obviously, your beauty's not frozen. You are the part of you that is young and beautiful, i.e., your physical form, is going to rot and become nothing. It's just going to become fertilizer. The part of you that is eternal will continue on to the next plane, and the people there are not going to give a hoot or a holler about your youthful beauty. It's just not something that's going to factor into the decision-making process when it comes to your assignment, your afterlife assignment. The afterlife assignment is going to be bad for you if your prime mover is your youthful beauty. And the, like, being really obsessed with like the Hellenistic, Greek, Roman, I guess not so much the Roman thing. I don't know. The thing I always see is the like old Greek stuff that like being obsessed with that comes with being obsessed with like homosexual, you know, boy lover stuff. Those two things are not separable. At least I don't care about what the facts of history are. The zeitgeist, the like cultural implications of those things now are gay. And so if you're like, two things you do the most are post pictures of just random muscly young boys and then talk about like how cool it was to have a spear and be a hoplite or whatever it is he talks about. Like, those two things are mad gay, dude. It's super, super gay. And so it's just a rebrand of homosexuality. Also, isn't he a Jew? Do we, like, for real, we're going to do this again? Isn't he an Eastern European Jewish guy? Is he even actually ripped? Are there any pictures of him showing that he's ripped? I've seen the one picture of him, the soy face picture where he makes a pose into his camera with his cigarette. Any man with children, any decent man worth his salt, the only time he's going to make a pose is when his wife has him pose. And he's doing it for her because he loves her and he's being gentle with her and giving her something deeper, something more appealing. I guess you can do that with your boys too. I'm trying to think if there's any pictures where I posed. I guess I was in high school. I took pictures in high school where I like took posing selfies like that. And then I guess there was a couple in college that I would have taken. One was with my family. The other was with another friend that was a girl, so that doesn't count. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you make a pose in a selfie, 16 plus, that's also super gay. So there's that picture. That's his like, I don't know. Is that his PFP of him by himself posing in some like European city number 201 on the one he found the one pretty cobblestone corner that isn't full of North Africans and trash, and took a picture. It was like, why aren't you Americans like this? You need walkable cities. So yeah, Bap's mad gay, super fag. Really lame, whack as hell. All the vitalism stuff's whack as hell, and it's just whack because it's not. Listen, if appealing to some sort of miasmic, vague, historical, like grand historical narrative of war and physical struggle gets you up in the morning, and it gets you to work, and it gets you closer to having a family, then I don't want to take that away from you. But I do want you to recognize that even that is meaningless if it's not nested in something even greater. And because you really are going to, like, very quickly you get to this like first mover kind of place where it's just, what is dying in battle? They're like, what does dying in battle mean? What is, and I keep saying dying in battle because it's just like, that's the thing that, I mean, that's the thing. Why do I have to pretend? Like, this is what the neo-vitalist people talk about, and like eugenics and stuff, and like physical struggle, and having, one of the true, qualifiers for being a leader is like physical prowess or whatever. Those things, what are they? They don't mean anything. You can go on Twitter right now and watch a dozen Ukrainian kids get cut in half by drone bombs for hours. You can watch them get in gunfights in the wood. There's videos of them getting in gunfights in the woods and cutting each other's balls off and stuff. Like, that's what you're talking about. That's fighting. That's physical struggle. And it's fundamentally pointless if there's no God attached to it. And I don't mean some vague, listen, I like Charles Carroll, but I don't mean some like vague Charles Carroll mystic sort of mystery being off there in the ether that is the sun and is Zeus or whatever. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, like, an all-powerful being that is the good, that it represents good. It's that good emanates from this being. It is good. It's all that there is. And in order to be that, it has to be a thinking, conscious thing. It can't be this removed impersonal energy. It has to be conscious. It has to be able to make decisions. It has to be able to decide what is and isn't moral. And following that thing is the transcendental kind of behavior you can do. That's when it's worth dying. And another thing I wanted to say about the this, and a lot of it maybe is like guys that wouldn't even necessarily say that they're neo-vitalists or even know what that is, but there's the whole like post-physique movement that's come from the this side of the internet, and what I kind of want to attack that idea a little bit, because what's the idea? I remember the original idea, and the original idea is good, is like physiognomy or whatever that word is. I'm not looking it up, so I'm going to just say it's physiognomy. I've only ever seen it written. I've never heard it said. That your inner psychology will ultimately influence, like, very heavily what you look like outwardly. And so if you've got like a screwed up looking face, if you're, hunched back, or some sort of extreme malformation, or you're just ugly, or, sort of squirrely looking in general, you are probably that way. Like you probably just, your personality matches how you look. And it's more the inverse. Like, you look how your personality is. So if you're an ugly, nasty person, you're going to look ugly and nasty. And so people who are good people look healthy and sharp, and are in shape, and are like tan and muscular or whatever. And I think that has merit to an extent. I think that only has merit insofar as it's something that you cannot have really fully active control over. So if you're like me and you're obese or whatever, I'm not obese, actually. I'm 270. I'm 6'2". I'm 270. I can certainly squat more than you can. But what was I going to say? Wait, no, not oh yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, if you're obese, or you're muscled or whatever, those are things you can control, and you can have, you can be a generally good person and have some sort of malfunction that causes you to, like, stress eat, or like, do whatever. But you can also be, dude, some of the coolest people I've known have been ripped and love the gym. Some of the some of the worst people I've ever met are real gym rats. And some of the best people I've ever met have been just blob, skinny, fat people. And a lot of the people that suck have been blob, skinny, fat people, or fat people. I think that there's correlation there, but it's not so big that it's worth hanging your worldview on, or hanging your, like, the weight thing. I think the physique thing is not. I don't think it's worth hanging a lot of weight on. Although if you look at the facial structure of, like, someone's face, their hairline, their eyes, these are the things that, how their cheeks are oriented. I'm looking right at a picture of Stephen King, who looks like he's from Whoville, for one, but also has some of the worst physique I think I've ever seen. And the faces they make and that kind of stuff. Like, I think it's more about, like, facial structure. I think that's, like, the shape of someone's head, I think, is also, like, a real big indicator. But I'm not a real physique person. But here's the thing. I think the argument originally was a good argument, but it's, like, spiraled out of control, where it's like, unless you can devote, like, an hour, 45 minutes a day, 3 or 4 days a week, and, to the gym, and get relatively well muscled, and eat well, unless you can do that, then your opinion is sort of forfeit. I think that's retarded. And that's retarded, I think, mostly because, what's one of the things, that's a claim that, yes, it's a claim to, like, represent your outward beauty, but, like, one of the claims that all these people make, like the Grecian on Twitter makes this claim all the time, that his, like, well-muscled, like, horsepower, heavy, Olympic weightlifter body could stand up physically to other people. But I'll tell you right now, I would assume at least one or two of you are from the Vitalist camp. I would eat you alive. And I'm not bragging. It's a simple statement. You would see me, you would go, there's a big guy, you'd see the traps, you'd see the rounded, bulbous, supple, I would say even supple triceps. You'd see the pythons, you'd see the arms, and you'd go, all right, this is a guy who can handle himself, but he's fat. There's no way he's got like, there's no way that I've got a 6-pack or whatever. You can see my lats. Well, you can see my lats, but you can see more of my lats than you can see of this guy's. I could definitely handle him. And I'll tell you right now, I have better cardio than you. I've been fighting for longer. I've got more training. I'm gonna destroy you. I'm gonna destroy you. And the only way that that's not true, you could be well muscled and destroy me, but the only way that's not true has nothing to do with your muscles. So it's not even like, what's the physique for? Because it doesn't represent inner beauty. Because if you're retarded enough to be like, I got to go to the gym in order to represent my inner beauty, then you don't have inner beauty to begin with. You're a retard. You're just first of all, you're a TikToker. You have like TikTok brain, and also you're an enterprise rent-a-car sales manager or something like that. Like you're just a nothing. You're a blip. You're a nothing person. That's fine. You can be a nothing. I'm a blip. Okay, I'm just a sales guy. I don't do anything. But I don't go to the gym thinking I have to represent my inner beauty. Like a woman. That's like woman stuff. So anyways, yeah, the thing that you could do to beat me would be to like go for runs and practice more judo or whatever. Like practice more hip throws. Like that's it. That's your shot. It's not doing more squats. So it's bereft. It's defunct. It's just not, please stop. It's gay. Being so obsessed with how guys look is gay. It's gay. Dude, it's gay. Just don't die. All right. Make yourself healthy enough that you can play with your children. All right. That's when it starts. Like, if you're not healthy enough to run around with your kids and they have to take a break first, you're probably in a bad way. Like I would suggest, and that's not a crazy, like, just skip breakfast. Well, don't skip breakfast. Sorry. Skip lunch or dinner. And then take a long walk at the end of every day, or just, do some push-ups and squats at the end of every day, 100 push-ups, 100 squats at the end of every day, skip lunch. In 2 years, dude, you'll be rocking and rolling. You'll look great. You'll look the best you've ever looked. It's not to be complicated. It doesn't be crazy. But I would also say that like the other extreme of that, like it's idolatry. And I guess that's the thing that okay, here we go. Less rambling, more just to the point. I've said this to Jason now several times in the podcast. You're going to hear this come over and over and over and over again every single episode. There is balance in life to be had. I think that is one of the key things. Maybe not one of the key things, but it was such an important thing. A thing that we miss now tremendously. I'll say that. Most people seem to not understand balance. And I think that Jesus was trying to strike at the heart of that in a lot of people. And that's a real message we're missing today. And it has a lot to do with idolatry. It's tied almost directly to idolatry. Like, being in shape is obviously good. Making a god out of being in shape is obviously retarded. I mean, do we have to do this? Do I have to be, I feel like I shouldn't, I feel tired. I haven't even ever said this really, and I feel tired already. Like, I'm nothing. I'm nobody. I'm a 28-year-old kid I have a daughter, but I've lived so little life, and there are so many people on the internet, and this is less. Well, it is even with normies too, because it's like not all my friends, but I have the vast majority of my friends are normies. They're just regular people, and so much of this stuff, like, it doesn't. They don't know who BAP is or Nick Fuentes. They don't understand how you're really supposed to spell physique or whatever. Like, they don't know these things, but the beliefs trickle down into their lives and affect the way they conduct themselves. Like, whether you agree with this or not, it's just a simple fact that Andrew Tate is a derivative of all this stuff. Like, he has found much of his material from the, right-wing Twitter kind of zeitgeist, that part of the internet, the 4chan sort of world. And so there's no denying that Andrew Tate is mainstream. And so there's tons of young people who are listening to this stuff and are hearing this stuff, and it trickles into their lives, and it affects the way they think. It affects the way they interact with their wives and their girlfriends. Most of them don't have wives, but it interacts with the way they treat their girlfriends and how they go about trying to spend their money. And there's just too much of this stuff. And I don't feel like it's reasonable that I should be the one to sit here and say that it's all gay. Like, that should be obvious. I'm not, like, the take that Andrew Tate is like whack is not new or whatever. And I don't even necessarily know how whack Andrew Tate is. Like, how much is he in on the joke? How much is he, is he really a criminal or whatever? I don't know. But the ultimate point that I'm trying to make is that idolatry is it's just corny, bro. It's just corny. It's corny to turn anything that isn't God into God. And it looks bad, and you look like you don't have any discipline. You look like you can't control yourself. You look scared. You look like you have no ability to regulate your own emotions. You look addicted. You're fixated on this thing. It completely controls you. And so to be completely controlled by something that isn't God is corny. It just looks bad. And so I guess I'm just, I'm dogging on the internet culture stuff because it's, it's such a big part of my life because I'm a child of the internet, and I do all my business on the internet, and half of my biggest hobby takes place on the internet. So it's just, it's a big part of what I'm exposed to, but it doesn't have, you don't have to stop at whatever it was I was just talking, I don't like right-wing Twitter or Twitch culture, like whatever it is you want to talk about, like all that stuff. Wow. Now I'm thinking about the fact I ran a Mythic Plus today on WoW, and we had this guy come in, and he said howdy to us, like hello to the group. But instead of saying howdy, he said meowdy, like meow, like I'm a cat, meowdy. I was thinking about that. So yes, and that's the same thing. That's that, and like that and listening to Caribbean rhythms are the same thing. It's the same activity, dude. You might as well wear cat ears and go meowdy. It's the same thing. You are wearing different clothes, but oh, do you look so similar? And that's how everybody views you. That's how everybody in the real normal world sees you. They see you like cat girls. That's how they see you. And so if you don't want to be seen that way, if you want to be taken as a serious person, you got to have balance in your life. You got to be a man of measurement. I also think it's really whack that are the major players on the internet, like outside of Alex Jones, who has kids? Like Tucker Carlson is obviously like a mainstream, but he's not like an internet person. But like, so Tucker Carlson has kids. Alex Jones has kids. Nick Fuentes doesn't have, Nick Fuentes is younger than me. Like, what does Nick Fuentes even, like, Nick Fuentes doesn't know anything. Nick Fuentes has got to go. He's never lived a life. It's just not a legitimate person you want to, I know he's funny. He is funny. He's good timing. He is funny, but he's, actually, you know what? I'm not going to say that. I actually don't know that Nick Fuentes has bad ideas. I'm actually never really. I take that back. I don't. Nick Fuentes is definitely gay, but I don't know if he's wrong. But I will say that it's almost impossible. It's the chances are that he's right are incredibly low. I don't know if he's wrong, but the chances are that he can be right about anything are just they are so low. And to attack Kostin again or whatever Sosta. I don't care what his stupid gay Jewish name is. He doesn't. Does he have kids? I don't know anything about his personal life. Does he have kids? Does he have a wife? Does he have anything in his life that makes him a man? He's a Harvard graduate, isn't he? Has he ever had a job? I mean, he's just an academic, isn't he? He's just one of them, right? He's an Eastern European Jewish academic with no family. What life experience is he bringing to bear to make an argument for eugenics? What right does he have to? He knows nothing about any life. He knows only about his own life and how it hasn't worked out the way he wanted it to because his boss was fat or whatever. And now listen, I do want to make note of the fact that a couple episodes ago or last episode or whatever, I said that a more civilized society would allow duels. And this is just me being balanced, baby. I think that there in a more civilized society that was structured better, there would be a little violence between men. There would be a little legalized violence between men. Dudes would fight, I think. That's a little bit of a rabbit hole, but yeah, I mean, if you don't have a family, that's it. I don't think. First of all, I mean, here's the thing, dude. When I say this to the right people, they go, "Oh wow, LOL based." That I say you should not be able to vote unless you are a land owning adult with biological children. Well. We'll go adopted children, but you get to be married to a member of the opposite sex. You have to be in a real marriage, not in a fake one. Don't try to slip one in under me. In order to vote, you have to be a land-owning a spouse with children. And that's super based, mega based, LOL based. Except when it's people you think are cool, then not only are they allowed to vote, but they're allowed to like shape the society you live in. Cool, dude. Sounds about that makes sense. And that, by the way, that's a merit of a man. What does his family look like? Does he have a family? Dude, physique, gay, family, phenomenal indicator. Is his child well fed? Is his child dressed? Are his children, do they get along well? Are they loud in public? Are they disrespectful to other adults? Is his wife happy? Is she obedient? Does she respect him? Does she take his word at face value? How much sex do they have? These are all things that are really, really important. You shouldn't know about how much sex they're having, but you should be able to tell if they're not having sex. Should be pretty clear. That's the measure of a man. Anything else is gay. It's gay. And there are things wrong with my side of the internet too. There are things wrong with my side of the internet. I mean, I'm not a super fan of how heavy the like JQ has been brought up on my side of the internet. You know, who's the guy that wrote the Boniface option? Isaac. His name is Isaac, right? I don't know. Whatever. He's a pastor. I don't know anything about him. I haven't read the book. I just heard he did that Canon Plus panel where he, what did he do? He sympathized with, or basically was saying, you know, can't you see why some people would not like the Jews? Which, dude, whatever. I don't like the Jews. Who cares? It's not something you should spend your time on. It's not the problem, is what I'm saying. The problem the Jews will be solved if we solve the problem. The problem is not the Jews. What else? What else can we talk about? 40 minutes in. Dang, dude, it's way easier to do this with a partner. Yeah, I don't really know if anything I said just now made sense. And I'm finding it hard to... No, that's not true. I could summarize it pretty easily. And I did, which is just, just drop idolatry, man. Drop idolatry. Internet culture is super whack. Just try to be normal. Take responsibility for yourself first before you start. I don't know. Before you, what's Costen's book, the History of Philosophy and Biology or whatever? I don't know what it's called. Before you read that book, just make sure that you are not. Make sure you're at least like graduated from college and or you're like you're like 25 plus and you are you've accomplished something somewhere, and whether that means achieving a wife, achieving something in your like chosen field or whatever, just have some kind of light, at least one resume point of life achievement before you read something like that, because that can get in your head and really mess you up. It can really mess you up bad. It can make you real resentful and be like, well, the reason my life is this way is because we haven't killed enough, because abortion isn't being used on enough black people. And if you get twisted like that, people can smell that. Talk about physiognomy, brother. That'll turn you evil. People can smell that resentment on your breath. If you think you don't have a girlfriend because girls are hoes these days, that's why you don't have a girlfriend. That's a self-perpetuating problem there, brother. You got to drop that real quick. So to summarize, just don't be idolatrous about anything. Don't get fixated on stuff. Don't think that like being into something like this or like knowing something esoteric or don't think that thinking Hitler was the good guy or whatever sincerely in your heart is cool or makes you cool. Like if you think that, fine, I don't care. Hitler probably was the good guy for all I know. Who knows? Maybe the earth is flat. Maybe there's no space. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Like just believe that because you believe it. Don't believe it because you think it implies something about you that's generally positive. So don't be idolatrous. Have balance in your life. You be a slave to Jesus. You're not a slave to, what else? I mean, it's just the second oldest religion. It's just materialism, and the evil. Like, just don't be a slave to that kind of stuff. So let it go. And then the second thing is that you really should be very cautious of people who want to tell you how to live, who have not lived. People who do, and I don't mean they've gone on lots of cool trips and they've been all over Europe and America and they've jumped off of rocks into the water and they've had lots of sex with skinny girls or skinny boys in BAP's case, or they've done lots of different cool things and they drove a Maserati one time and they've been to Ibiza. That's not lived. Lived is, have you missed the mortgage payment and had to figure out how to get food on the table with your kids and make ends meet? Has the cold harshness of reality caressed your sweet, unmolested baby cheek and grown you up a little bit? Has it made you rougher on the edges? Has it made you more robust, more resilient? If it's not done, if that's not happened to you, then, or if that's not happened to the person you're listening to, then they're not Paul. All right. They're not Paul. They're not C.S. Lewis. They're just not. All right. And you're not. And so it's just a really big measure. It's a real big measure of a life lived is how a man's family is doing and whether or not he has a family. What else? What else could we talk about? Oh, we can talk about this. Do we? We can forego the personal responsibility stuff for a second and just talk about politics. We don't talk about politics. Do we need some sort of like fascist dictator to come in and flip the tables on the pedophiles that run everything? I don't know if I'm equipped to answer that question, but I am equipped to say that it worked for us once, did it not? I mean, we had, I guess the French they were the revolutionary. They pull us out of the Revolutionary War. As long as he is willing to sacrifice his power once he's done decentralizing everything again, I think that that's probably the way to go. I mean, is there a way? Can you feasibly defeat this sort of oligarchical structure that we have without one guy at the head kind of making all the calls? Is that something we could possibly do? I don't think so. I guess the alternative is that we have some sort of like balkanization of the U.S. where many different states go many different directions, or like at least two, but that's almost certainly going to end in violence. There's very, very little chance that doesn't have some sort of civil war inclinations. And this is interesting. I can talk about this. In the world of like serious people, so you remove yourself from the internet and you go into the world of serious professionals. And what I'm talking about is just like, you have like Lomez giving, foreign policy takes like this. I don't know who he is, what he does. I'm sure he's, just fine. But I mean, he's just a middle American guy, right? He's just a normal person, I would imagine. In the world of like serious people, and there is, I know the like appealing to authority argument or whatever is like totally bereft, and it should be. It's like bunk as shit. Sorry, it's bunk now, and that's good. But I will say that there are serious people and there are unserious people, and in the world of serious people, there's a really well established theory that the world of full-on kinetic warfare between superpowers, people that have nukes, is just like, that's just done. We're not having in a world where the leaders who declare these wars can be incinerated minutes after declaring them. There's not going to be like we're talking pretty high stakes in order for there to be a full-on war that like we've seen in the past, like a total a state of total war, kind of world war, or a really massive war between two superpowers and their allies. It's just not going to happen. And because of that, what am I trying to say? The point I'm ultimately trying to make, I guess, that the thing that bleeds into, that I now no longer have the time and also no longer have the energy to explain, but the thing that this bleeds into is that things are going to be okay. Like, I know things over the next 5 to 10 years might still be choppy and things might not go well, and there's probably going to be a real estate collapse of some kind, whether it be residential or commercial, and that's going to suck. And there's probably going to be some sort of global economic meltdown that's going to have a death toll and a material destruction cost that will be like a third world war happened, just from people starving to death and stuff. But after that blows over, it's going to be pretty tight. And I don't think that people in the U.S. are going to feel like, I don't think we're going to have people starving in the street in the U.S. Like, we may have some sort of depression or whatever, but I don't even know if that's coming at this point. Something's got to give with the Fed, obviously, at some point. So there'll be some kind of major economic. There'll be some sort of like cataclysmic event that is the torch passing from the current elite to the new elite. And then we're going to have, 3 or 4 more generations cycle again, whatever. Fourth turning kind of Leo Strauss theory, that whole thing. Look it up. Fourth turning Leo Strauss. And I think by Leo Strauss's timeline, we're really kind of at the end of the fourth turning. And so things are going to be looking up pretty soon here, boys. Before a lot of us are out of our 30s, things are going to be pretty sick. And when you're in your 30s, you are still basically 20. And there's a lot of youth left. Lot of young intermarital intimacy to have with your young, beautiful wife. A lot of cool, sunny vacations you can go on and still, be young and whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's still a lot of life left to live. And if you're paying attention when it all goes down, you could make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money if you're paying attention, if you're looking in the right direction. I know Jason would get upset if I started giving specific financial pointers, so I won't, but I would if he was here. But that's my take on politics, is that I'm quite optimistic about not the immediate future. I think that's probably sucks. A lot of people are going to die, and things are going to go really badly. But if you are in college right now, or you just got out of college, or you're, you're not dead in the middle of a career that's going nowhere or something like that. Even if you are, if you can just get your hands on like a couple grand right now. Honestly, what could you do right now? It's not really, just look into it. It's really hard. There's so many different things you could do. Like Jason's style of, like, the things he's doing are so good and are going to pay off so well for him. And the things we're doing, my family, me and my wife are doing, are so good and are going to pay off so well for us. And there's just, and they're two very different methods of going about, not wealth accrual. I think those are basically identical, but they're just, the assets are different. The things we're investing in are different, but the lifestyles that we've chosen for ourselves are very different, and they're going to pay off in the long run. What are we at? 57 minutes. I'm probably going to have to edit out 3 minutes of this. We'll keep going for a second. So that's my take on politics, is that things are good, or things are going to be good, and that you should not get discouraged, and you should not let like negative media bias cheat you out of trying, I guess is what I'm saying, which ties into last episode's hopelessness. Don't be cheated out of trying. Don't be cheated out of trying, and don't be cheated out of anything, man. I'll tell you this, one of the mainstream things that is, you cannot argue with this. This is an internet culture. This is just anybody under the age of 35, I think. Anybody under the age of 30, probably just Zoomers maybe. But dude, the amount of young guys I see today that think that like every girl has an OnlyFans. Now, it's obviously not that extreme, but that's a good, like, dude, whatever. It makes the point. Like, the amount of guys that think every girl has an OnlyFans is crazy. Like, I will say this. I think the they did, somebody like Rasmussen or whatever did a poll on guys under the age of 30 who what they think, like each age group of guys, how many OnlyFans girls they think there are, what percentage of the U.S. population, and the like Zoomers was ridiculous. Like Zoomers think it's like 50% of all girls have OnlyFans, and like all girls want one but don't have the confidence to do, like don't have the have whatever, something stopping them from doing it, which is absurd. That is so crazy. Like, dude, there's not even, I don't think there's a fraction. I think for real, I looked it up right after I saw that study. I think for real, if you round up the number of girls in the U.S. that have an OnlyFans to the nearest whole number and express it as a percentage, or if you take what did I decide that it was? Let me do the math in my head. Okay, if you take the number of girls that are in OnlyFans and that use OnlyFans, that post on OnlyFans, and you round it up, you express it as a percentage, you express that as a percentage and round it up to the nearest whole number, it's 0%, none, no girls. It's not a full percentage point of the U.S. population, female U.S. population, that has OnlyFans. There's none. There are no OnlyFans girls. You don't know any, and you won't meet any. Now let that microcosmic example expand out to your ideas about girls in general. They don't all have 20 bodies. They're not walking around Andrew Tate style just trying to get money. There's this, like, the idea of whatever it is, I forgot what it's called, but girls marrying for status and wealth. That's obviously true, but that doesn't communicate to girls are capable of investing too. They just don't invest like men invest. Men invest with money. Women invest with time and energy. Okay, that's the difference between investing in things and investing in people. And if you are not getting a girlfriend, it's not because you don't currently have money and power and influence and a cool car or whatever. It's because every girl you meet believes your potential to generate those things is 0 or not high enough for her to be interested in you. That's the reality of your situation, bud. You are unattractive. Not physically. I'm sure you're very handsome, but you are repulsive. You have a repulsive personality because you're grumpy and you like gay stuff on the internet, like, whatever, Ziz or whatever, which is, I guess Ziz is not gay, but well, yeah, he was. Ziz was gay. That was real gay. Taking ecstasy and like dancing around with your shirt off is gay. So you just like gay stuff on the internet and you're real resentful. You blame everybody else for your problems. That's why you don't have a girlfriend. If you would take responsibility for yourself, if you would be optimistic, then girls would flock to you. I was not fat when me and my wife met, but I was not in shape. Well, I was in shape. Okay, I take that back. I was in shape, but I had a belly. I had big arms and I had big shoulders or whatever, and I've always been handsome, but I was a nobody. I was a cook at a restaurant in the city of Austin. I didn't have a college degree, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. No idea what I was going to do. And I was racked with fear and anxiety because of that. But I was fun. And I was excited about life. I was optimistic. I was hopeful. And that, my wife, if I've asked my wife a couple times throughout the years that we've been together, why she decided to marry me. And she said, because I was full of life. Because I am full of life. And that's her favorite thing about me, is that I'm full of life. And when me and my wife met, my wife looks like my wife had a baby not even a year and a half ago, and she has returned to her previous status as looking like a Ralph Lauren model. My wife is 6 feet tall. When we met, she was like 150 pounds. I think she's like 100 and maybe like 60 pounds now. She's like maybe 10 pounds heavier. She has abs again after having a baby. She's almost 30. She had abs when we met. She was beautiful. Like, get me in a fight at a bar. Beautiful people stopping us in the street, asking her what movies she's been in. Beautiful, like gorgeous, big, beautiful blue eyes, wonderful smile, like intoxicating voice. Beautiful, my wife is, and she had every ability to pick some pretty. She had some opportunities to pick some pretty high status individuals, but she picked me because she believed in her heart that the investment was going to pay off better in the long term. And that doesn't mean that I was going to make more money than, whatever guy. It just meant that she was going to be more loved and cherished and better protected and better provided for. I mean, your ability to offer provision, your material ability to offer provision does not imply directly your actual ability to offer provision. If that makes sense. So you have a lot of money, that does not necessarily mean that you're capable of providing really. If you're an autistic sort of World of Warcraft playing Redditor, kind of selfish, a lot of the propeller head kind of computer science engineer dorks out there have a real heart. Well, you said that it was this way. We were going to do this. I wanted to do this. We're going to do this. This is how I like it this way. They have that in them. They have a little autism. They have that. And girls need you to not have that. Girls need you to have a, no, babe, of course we can do that. Yeah, I got you. And don't go, oh, longhouse. Internet term, doesn't matter, gay. Intentionally, thoughtfully sacrificing yourself for your woman is, that's alpha male shit right there, baby. I'm not even going to edit that one out. That's alpha male shit. That's real alpha male. Having her be, you must clean the kitchen. If I am going to make all the money, then you are going to clean the kitchen. Like, yeah, she should be cleaning the kitchen, but being like, in my house, I will leave you. Whatever. All right. I'm starting to ramble. We got it. 1 hour, 6 minutes. I'm literally just like playing with stuff, seeing if I can fit this little plastic thing into this doohickey over here. Boys, I love you. I'm praying for you. What a bunk episode. I need Jason. I think after this, we can all agree. I need Jason. So, we'll see you next week. Won't have Jason, but I'll have somebody else with me. Hopefully that'll be better. I don't actually know. It could be as bad as this. No clue. If it is, I'm sorry. And I will, I'll edit out the dead space. I'll edit out all the dead air, but I won't edit out anything else because I don't want to. And I have a busy week. So what else? What do I usually say? Praying for you. Pray for yourselves. Go to church. Lift some weights maybe if you want to. At least go for a walk. Be physically healthy. Be able to take care of your kids. Play with them and stuff like that. I love you guys. Praying for you. I'm out. Peace.